You've heard people talk about it, you might even have tried it before, but what really is gesture drawing and why should you bother doing it? Hi, I'm Emily from the Pencil Room. In this video I'm going to talk about gesture drawing. You might already have watched my video on contour drawing, and with contour drawing we draw really slowly. Well, gesture drawing in some ways is the opposite of contour drawing. Basically, we're drawing really quickly with lots of energy and movement. And there's some really good reasons for practicing this kind of drawing. There are a couple of different ways to talk about gesture drawing. There are traditional methods and more practical methods. We'll talk about both in a moment, but first let's look at why gesture drawing is a really good exercise to practice. When we start drawing, we can easily get caught up in trying to make something look good or correct, which sometimes means we miss the overall picture. For example, you might be drawing a guitar and get caught up in the small details of the tuning keys and the strings and trying to get them straight. Or you might be drawing a person and get stuck on drawing all the details of the face and the hair. Now, these are not bad things to focus on at the end of a drawing, but at the beginning of a drawing, it can distract you from the bigger picture or from capturing the entire form in a connected way that's fluid and has energy. And this is where gesture drawing can help. It can help to loosen up our drawing. It can help us to get the general idea of something down really quickly, and it can give our drawings a natural sense of energy. By looking at the bigger picture and drawing quickly, we can train our eye to see the whole form rather than the surface details, and practicing it is also going to improve your coordination. Let's go through how to do it, and then I'll give you some other ideas of when you might be able to use this. The traditional method of gesture drawing was made popular by this book on figure drawing by Nicolaides, The Natural Way to Draw, in which he talks about using gesture drawing to convey the feeling of a subject. So how would it feel to be the model in a certain figure pose? What's the model doing? Are they stretching? And trying to draw the feeling of stretching rather than just, say, looking at the arm. We don't have to use gesture drawing only for figures, we can also use it for objects. But even with objects, in this traditional manner, the idea is to draw the feeling of the object rather than the outlines. Nicolaides also suggests that you should try to get something of the whole form down in the first 10 seconds. So let's have a go. In the first 10 seconds, try to get something of the whole object on the paper. This will get us in the right headspace for seeing the entire object. Next, identify movement lines through or around the object. Where do you feel like there's some weight or some volume? If you were to pick it up or run your hand over it, what form or shape would your hands feel? And this traditional method is very much about feeling. You can take the drawing as far as you need to, even build it up with scribble to show where you feel weight, tension, or energy in the object. In more recent times, gesture drawing has come to mean a quick and simple and energetic sketch. In some ways, it's more about showing the subject in as few lines as possible, what lines are really essential to capture that subject. Gesture drawing is all about gesture or movement, and we can think about the movement in two ways. We can think about the movement of the lines through the subject and also the quick physical action of our arm and our hand as we draw. Try to draw from the shoulder and move the whole arm freely to create fluid and energetic lines. Let's try this method. Remember, think about the subject as a whole form when you start drawing rather than thinking about the detail or the parts. Try drawing something of the whole object at the very start of the drawing. Sketch the essential lines of movement. Now these could be moving through the object, across it, or around the edges. And then consider the feeling of the object, the weight and the volume, the space it occupies. How can you show this with energetic or gestural lines? When you're doing this, be aware of how you feel about the drawing. If you have worries about how it's going to look at the end, just let those go and try to focus on the experience of drawing and capturing the form on paper. When should you be practicing gesture drawing? Take just 5 minutes to practice gesture drawing with anything you see around you. You can try fruit, your desk, the view outside. You can sketch people at a park. Work quickly and loosely to capture your subject on paper without worrying about the surface detail. Gesture drawings are not often final artworks, but instead they're a way of developing skills and learning more about a subject that you might then use for a painting or a final drawing. If you're interested in these methods of contour drawing and gesture drawing and other ways of learning how to see and draw, you might want to check out my Learn to Draw course for beginners on Udemy or Skillshare. You can follow the links in the description to get a free trial on Skillshare or a discount price on Udemy. If this has been useful for you, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to let me know about your own experiences with gesture drawing down in the comments, and I'll see you next time.